Two guys talking after seeing a play. One guy says, we've got so much to say, let's do a podcast. The other said, why not? We'll call it 5 Useless Degrees and a bottle of Scotch. Then they got on X-ray radio, saw lots and lots of theater shows in Portland, then sat around and talked right there on 5 Useless Degrees and a bottle of Scotch.
Welcome to 5 Useless Degrees and a Bottle of Scotch. My name is James Engberg, J School dropout.
And I am Eric Kilgore, Rose City Riveter.
And this weekend we're going to be discussing Bag and Baggage's production of Noel Coward's Private Lives.
And we are drinking Cragganmore, 12-year-old Speyside single malt Scotch whiskey that Haggis has brought for us.
Oh, Cragganmore.
Cragganmore.
From the Craigan clan
Really? Is that?
in the Highlands.
I've never heard of the Craggan clan.
Huh. Interesting.
And we're going to be doing some more flashcards, preparing for our head-to-head quiz in a couple of weeks.
Yes, and James has finally prepared to talk about Portland 5.
I made a phone call.
All right.
We sorted it out.
Yeah?
Welcome to the show.
Well, if you're putting on a show, they'll give you their time. Review it while they're sipping on Scottish moonshine. It's a party of laughs, booze, and thoughts. Right here on 5 Useless Degrees and a bottle of Scotch. Right here on 5 Useless Degrees and a bottle of Scotch. Right here on 5 Useless Degrees and a bottle of
Wow.
Wow.
That is a new version of our song done by Haley Kilgore.
Wow. I don't even know what to say.
It's the best one we've had.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. You too can do a version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Please.
Yeah, you can just mail that sucker in. Oh, no, you know what? You can leave a voicemail on our website.
That's right.
Just hit play and sing.
There you go. Oh, that's perfect.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, so you can go to our website, and there's a spot for you to leave a voicemail.
Let's do this. We'll put up the words to the song on the website.
Great.
And you can just sing it into the voicemail, and we'll play it right here.
You people don't know it by now?
Well,
Who knows? Huh?
you know, on the off chance that they don't remember.
Yeah, they might forget.
I'm going to drink this.
They might be drinking whiskey, and they,
Open the Craggan.
get a little bit forgetful.
Is that what they say?
Release the Craggan.
Release the Craggan.
It's a tradition.
That's what the Craigan clan says.
Holy cow.
So Haggis,
Yes.
your track record,
Not so good.
I have some ups and some valleys.
You have a
You
lot
want
of
the
valleys. That's
Haggis?
true.
Actually, I have... Oh,
you have
yeah,
enough?
No, I can use some.
All
Yeah,
right.
you can...
Always.
I can always
Just
do
top it
some.
off.
Yeah, your track record has not been good with the whiskey selection.
So here we are again. It feels like his week comes around more often than
Yeah, how is that?
ours for some
right.
reason.
You dread it.
That's right. But we'll try it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Speyside Scotch,
12-year.
12-year-old.
Oh. I think it's one of those hill weeks.
Oh, Oh, yes, we've crested the hill here.
Yeah. Now, is it a hill or a mountain?
That's a hill.
It's a hill, yeah.
I'll take a hill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good.
It's nice. It's buttery.
It is, yeah. Got a little bit of smokiness too, just a touch.
Just a touch. Yeah.
And I must say, if you put some amaretto in it, it's really good.
I don't think it needs any amaretto. It's really good as is. And Haggis, I have to say, you have outdone yourself this week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, well done.
So keep this in mind next time.
Uh-huh. I've been wondering.
You're already lowering
When I
expectations.
fall in the valley again.
Good. Okay, so I did it. Finally.
Na-da!
What's that sound effect?
That's the trumpets of praise and wonder.
Yeah, it did it. It took you
Holding your hand.
holding my hand and going to lunch with me
Yeah.
and sitting there. I will say though that during the conversation you just got up and left.
Yeah. Well, you were like 10 minutes into the conversation. I was like, my work here is done.
Yes.
I need to go pee, and so
It was like 10 minutes.
no, it was you were on the phone for like 20 minutes.
Blew my mind because I really thought my fear going in was that I was just going to get the brush off,
Right.
and that Robin Williams was just going to tell me to take a hike. But she was so friendly
Yeah.
and forthcoming and a pleasure to talk to. And at the end, she said, if you need any other information, you have additional questions, don't hesitate to call.
That's great.
So, if we need to do any follow-up, we can do that. And I'm sure she'd be happy to talk to us.
So you got some very useful information.
Yeah, I got some very useful information. So at the heart of this was because people probably can't remember how this all began.
This started like
November.
a year ago. Yeah.
But we were interested in the $8 service fee
Right.
charged by companies that use the Portland 5.
The Portland Centers for the Performing Arts
Yeah.
spaces. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you get dinged with an $8 service fee.
Mm-hmm. And we wanted to know what that was all about. So we asked for a public information request. That was going to cost $445. We tried to narrow that, or we wanted to narrow it down. So we asked what we could do to limit the damage on that. And
And they didn't seem to want to let us into their records for some reason.
No.
I don't know why.
no. But Robin Williams,
Yeah.
the executive director, got back and said, give me a call. Let's see what we can. I want to understand better what you need. And she, to her credit, when I got on the phone, she took her a second, but then she goes, oh, I remember this. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think she pulled up my request from somewhere because she seemed to be responding to it without me having to reiterate much.
And you
at
were
all.
taking notes furiously on your napkin.
Oh yeah, I got a full napkin here.
You actually have a napkin.
No,
do.
Seriously.
I do.
We had a little comment card. And,
I have a comment card.
and a napkin full of notes.
Yeah, my comment card ran out of space, and so I grabbed a napkin and wrote. And so, I asked, can you clarify this $8 fee? Or what's up with this fee? Why do people have to pay this additional fee on top of a ticket price?
Why does it cost so much for the fee?
Right.
Yeah.
And she was incredibly transparent,
Yeah.
or so it seemed.
Yeah.
And unapologetic about that fee at all.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Okay.
So that fee, a flat amount of that fee goes to New Era.
New Era Tickets, which is the contractor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The contractor who runs all of those online support things,
Right.
and can put people behind phones if you need to take ticket orders. They get about roughly half of that $8.
Yeah, 40-some%. Yeah.
And her argument for that is that it is an incredibly robust system that they provide.
Robust in what way?
Well, in that it's not just people taking your ticket orders and then producing tickets for you. There is staff. Well, first of all, it's staffed. There's technology behind it that can help companies that use it do targeted marketing. learn about the demographics of the people who purchase tickets for them, that can do follow-up surveys and additional marketing after the show if you want.
Okay.
All of that stuff is available to people when they use that new era ticket system.
So part of that fee is going to a broad marketing system.
Yes.
Behind those tickets.
Yes. And she said over and over, it is a massive system, it is a complex system, and it has all sorts of features that are available to companies that use the venues.
Okay.
So they're paying for that.
Okay.
Okay.
So $3 and some odd cents is going to that every time.
Yeah. On my comment card, it says something like about $3.75 for an online purchase.
Okay.
$3.95 for a phone purchase.
Oh.
So they're probably adding 10 cents to pay for a human being,
Sure.
right?
Okay.
On the other end of that phone.
All right.
For a few seconds.
Okay.
The balance of that fee goes into a great pool of money that is made up of the rest of the fee, that is also made up of a user fee for some companies.
So rental fee or
No, an additional percentage that can be put on top of tickets.
Oh.
That can go into this big pool
Fund,
of money,
yeah.
right?
Okay.
Fund, right? All the concession money goes into this pool, and basically what this pool is, it's a fund for infrastructure improvements, maintenance, and capital expenditures.
Operating expenses for the building.
Right. And she gave me an example. She said $800,000 alone this year is going to go for this budget year, is going to go to capital equipment.
Okay.
Maintenance and
improving the equipment. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and she said their goal every year is to break even. They're not trying to make any money. They're not
Right.
trying to gain a lot from this. They are simply trying to keep up with maintaining these buildings and the technology and the features of these buildings.
Interesting.
And so I said, so in a sense, would you say that the patron is subsidizing these companies? And she basically said, yes, that's pretty much what's happening. Because
right.
she said that, especially for nonprofit companies, which I'll get to in a second, that nonprofit companies end up being able to use the buildings or rent the buildings at a much lower cost than commercial companies.
Right.
And so because they're renting at a low cost, and because that money, they still want to keep these buildings in the condition they are, both internally and externally, that they amass this pool of money to pay for all of that. Yeah.
So in the case of nonprofits, though, there was something interesting here. So originally when we talked about this topic...
Well, this is how it came about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were talking in reference to Third Rail, and we had actually received a comment from someone, and actually we don't know who this person was, but they
claim to be associated with Third Rail, but we can't corroborate that.
We don't know that.
Yeah.
And they claimed that Third Rail and I guess anyone that was using that space was obligated to use this ticketing system, and that's hence the $8 service fee. And the only way to avoid it was to call the company directly and to purchase your tickets.
Right.
But Robin had a different answer to this question.
Oh, yeah. Completely contradictory one, in fact.
Right.
She said, absolutely not true. She said that commercial companies, so for-profit companies, are required to use their system for ticket sales.
Yeah, they have no other choice for commercial enterprises.
They have no choice. They have to use it. And she said that's to maintain the integrity of the interactions for larger companies that are using these buildings. Right?
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
However, she said that 501c3 or nonprofit organizations are not required to use the system
Not required to use the online system.
Correct.
Okay.
And in fact, that she seemed to check something and then said, in fact, third rail is definitely not required to use and has not been required to use that system.
So according to her, they could use some other ticketing service to provide their tickets.
She said you can use like a mom and pop ticketing service, a smaller one, you get
brown bag,
anything you want to use, it's fine. The only thing is in that case that if they don't use the system, that they have to pay Portland 5 $3 per ticket when they use their own.
So they still have to pay a fee.
Yeah, basically that's making up for the amount that
they lose.
User fee, right? So that's nothing in that is going to go to New Era,
right?
But that still is going into that pool of money.
I see.
So they still want to be able to amass that pool of money because they're trying to maintain. But they say, companies that use their facilities, I mean, she named things like stage door security and ushers and all these things that these companies don't provide, that all of that still needs to be provided by Portland 5. And so that $3 is partly infrastructure maintenance and providing all these amenities that come along with a rental of that building or one of those buildings.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is pretty interesting. It's very interesting. Another thing she said, and this sort of threw me a little bit for a second. But I guess it was in keeping with what she was talking about and because she's very proud of these venues in this whole organization.
Well, that's her job, right?
Clear.
I mean,
it's her job.
Yeah,
absolutely. And but she did say at one point, she said, and this is a quote, "You need to be an arts organization of a certain caliber or you just can't afford us."
But I thought we were subsidizing.
Well, even still, I think the point is that even if we were subsidizing in those particular spaces, those spaces are still higher end.
Okay.
Were you going for the word exclusive there?
Yeah.
They are less affordable by any theater company that wants them.
Wow.
Yeah. But I mean, and she said, but you get all of these things, when you rent from us.
Okay.
But, we're not for everybody. And she said, some people, maybe they want to go to a coffee shop and do a piece of theater. And I'm not quoting this here, but she named some other places that people, like spaces that people may want to use. But that this is definitely a step up from that to use these spaces. So
that's interesting. I have so many things running through my head right now. I don't even know where to begin.
Just spit it out, man.
I can't quite square my head around this a little bit because it is a public institution, and I'm wondering where my tax dollars are going. If these service fees are the main source of funding for where are my tax dollars going?
Well, I don't know about main source. It's a pool. It's revenue, right? And
right.
it's a pool, but I don't know that it's the main revenue stream. I don't know that. There's more conversation to be had here.
There is, yeah.
And I think, based on how forthcoming she was, I mean, I would be interested if you've got more questions. I think we should put them down and see if she'd like to talk further.
Well, and I did reach out to Third Rail. I sent them an email last week after we had this conversation when you had this conversation with her, and I asked them specifically about this requirement to use the fee, but I have not heard back, so I don't know what their response is to that.
Okay.
Or who knows who that commenter was.
Right. Again, we don't know that person was connected to Third Rail. I guess I would be interested in Third Rail either confirming or denying that.
Well, and that's why
that was them.
That's why I had sent the email asking. So
right, and to see if we can get these two stories to align.
Right. Yeah.
We'd like to have one tale rather than a couple.
Right.
So we'd love to hear from somebody at Third Rail.
Yeah, and if any of our listeners happen to know more about this story and how you can elucidate what is going on there, we'd love to hear from you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's where we are.
All right.
I don't think it's case closed, but
No.
another chapter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious.
Oh, are you awake?
Yeah.
Oh, Haggis.
But I'm not really good with the numbers. But so $800,000 to run the maintenance, is that for a year or a month or how much?
That was budgeted for the current fiscal year. She said that actually next year she's anticipating that doubling almost.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say the Keller Auditorium sells out and you have an $8 service fee for each seat, right? How much money? Isn't that like $600,000?
Well,
Doesn't that cover them for like half a year in one show?
That's
Right.
where low-level arithmetic comes in handy. I
Yeah.
guess.
So
I was shooting for the moon there.
well, Haggis, you recall that recently I had to pay a $13.85 per ticket service fee
That's quite a bit.
for my Book of Mormon tickets.
Right.
And I calculated that out because they're doing like 16 performances, and just the rough number there would be over $600,000 in fees alone.
Didn't they make their maintenance costs in about 2 shows?
Yeah, it's well, and part of that too is because it is a higher fee. I assume that commercial enterprises can adjust the fee accordingly. So
yes, that's right.
So some of that is actually going to whoever's adjusting that fee. It's not actually going to Portland Centers for the Arts. It's going to the commercial enterprise.
Yes, those groups are able to adjust up that user fee and take a little bit more.
And clearly, it's a great deal larger than the $8.
Oh, something else, just to give the whole story here.
Okay.
You take off $1.25 to New Era off those fees to New Era for nonprofits.
Oh, so it's so they only pay $2.50 or whatever.
Yeah, or what? Yeah, whatever.
So then
about $2.50.
But still, it's $8, and so
so
a larger percentage goes to the pool.
Goes to the pool because those companies are paying less.
Okay.
So, right, that makes it makes sense in a way, right?
Didn't we pass an art tax last year?
That was for schools.
Yeah, that's for the schools.
Yeah. Did you pay it?
I'm sure I did.
Haggis, you live in Clackamas County, so you don't have to worry about it.
Did you pay it?
No, but when I go to the theater and they pass the hat, I always get a little more American dollars.
That's nice of you.
He switches it up for his own hat.
Yeah.
Do they take Scottish currency?
Okay, let's get on. Let's move on to this. So Golden Flasks are coming up in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And then we're going to cover the Drammies.
Yes, we are.
So we got a couple things to do tonight. We're gonna do some of our nominees or nominations for
we've
Golden
got a few
Flasks.
categories that we want to provide our nominees for.
And this is just a teaser.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get to all of them even by the time we're ready to do the Golden Flasks.
Oh no,
not by any degree.
It's a preview.
It's just a sampling.
So let's do that, and then we'll take a break, and then we'll come back and do flashcards. We should study a little drammy crammy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's one category.
Okay.
The most flask friendly.
Oh, yes.
There are 4 nominees per category.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you want to guess?
Yeah,
who's on here?
I would say that Action Adventure's got to be on there.
They absolutely have to be on there because
just because they told us we could use our flasks in their space.
Yeah. Good. Another one you want to? What else? Who else do you think's on here?
I think a company that has to be on there is Miracle Theater, just because we got a little talk about flasks before we saw a show there.
Yeah, I mean they are on here.
Yeah,
and we were it was almost insistent that we have our flasks with us.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. Well, we've had both ends of the spectrum.
That's what Tony said. Right. And then
right.
And when we said Quinteme Coyote, we were basically told
keep them in our pockets.
Keep it in the pocket. Also on here is Bag and Baggage.
Oh yeah, I think it would. Bag and baggage is very easy to drink the flasks. Yeah,
Yep.
that's true.
And
In the Venetian.
in the Venetian,
Yeah. Out in the outdoor space and the court, not so much.
Not so much.
Yeah.
And post 5.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Certainly.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
So those companies, get ready.
Yeah.
You could win. Okay.
What's the prize?
A golden flask.
Yeah, it's a golden flask.
Right? Is that a sticker or they get a flask or what?
Like a little smiley
A
face.
scratch and sniff?
A little star, gold star.
No, it's a little flask. You'll see.
Oh, I can't wait to see.
Oh yeah. All right. Next category here. Best ushers.
Oh, there are lots of great ushers in this town.
They're selfless employees oftentimes.
Yeah, well, a lot of times they're volunteers.
That's what I said. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Oftentimes
Yeah.
they're volunteers.
Yeah.
Yep. Not at the Portland 5 venues for the arts, but but in many places, these are people who are giving their time. So who do you think? Who's on this list?
ART has got to be on that list.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nathan would tell you that.
Sure.
Yeah, if he were here.
And also in that space, but different personnel are the profile theater ushers.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but they mean business. Those
Yeah,
ones.
they do.
Oh yeah, they'll reseat you.
Yeah. Right. Sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, I bet PCS is on that. Portland Center for Portland Center Stage. What am I saying?
Portland Center Stage, and you're correct.
Yeah.
But why do you say that?
Because when we were there recently, they looked a little militant. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They seemed to be like aggressive.
Yeah, when we went to the last 5 years, they were lined up.
Yeah.
Like they were protecting Fort Knox or something.
Yeah, like
that.
there was something really valuable up on stage that they had to protect.
I saw one of them even redirect a little old lady and kind of move her and give her a talking to.
But that takes some skill.
And third rail's on here.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, and that's mostly because of Maureen Porter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I get that.
Yeah, I mean she's like everywhere talking to people.
Yeah, she's all over the place.
Very friendly. Yeah. Okay. All right. Best concession area.
Oh, best concessions.
Yeah, who has the best concessions?
We were at Bag and Baggage this week, and they have excellent concessions.
That popcorn.
And a really good beer selection.
And those slices of cake.
Oh man, those cakes, they have huge slices of cake. I felt compelled to buy a slice of cake. I didn't, but they're awfully enticing.
I will say about them, though, I feel like the people working the concession counter there are a little bit too business. There's not enough,
they're
conversation.
not friendly enough.
Yeah, I don't get a lot of good
Can
feel
you
there.
really bring cake into the theater?
I don't know. I want to know.
If you sell it at the concession,
I mean,
well,
the huge plates
The
of
fork
cake.
clinking against the plate
clink,
during
Yes.
the show.
clink. Yeah, that would be perfect. And I know who has to be on there.
who?
Epiphany Theater.
Oh
For
yeah.
free concessions.
Oh yeah. Tea, coffee,
Yeah. Cookies. And, yeah.
for free.
Yeah.
In a living room setting.
How great is that? You sit in an easy chair.
Yes.
Have a cookie and a cup of coffee.
Right. Also on
Awesome.
here,
That's great.
Lakewood and Broadway Rose.
Oh, Broadway-
You put Broadway's Rose in it because I've never
Broadway
been.
Rose's concession stand is excellent.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll do a couple more.
Yeah.
We got time for two
Do a
more.
couple
okay.
more. Yeah.
Slowest onstage clock.
Every clock on stage is slow.
No,
But
that's not true.
But some are worse than others.
No, you're talking about the actual clock that was on the
Actual
stage.
clocks on stage.
Yeah, clocks on stage.
High on my list have to be again Bag and Baggage is it's a Somewhat Wonderful Life. That clock.
Yeah, I didn't.
Nathan was with me.
Okay.
And
I remember the one that sticks out most to me, like immediately, is at Lakewood during Greater Tuna.
Greater Tuna. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a slow clock.
That was a slow clock. And at Third Rail, a Gideon's Knot.
Yes, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
A school clock.
And Bright New Boise is on here.
Oh yeah, the time stamp on the video screen.
Oh.
That would like stop.
I was gonna say I don't remember a clock in that show.
No,
But
there was a timestamp on that video.
I thought it meant just because I was thinking about time so much.
Might have been.
And how slow it was going. Okay. Last on this week's preview of the Golden Flasks.
All right.
Most corpse-like performance.
Was corpse-like.
Corpse-like.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. No.
Can you come up with?
I can come up with some.
Okay.
Well, okay. Recently, we saw Christy Bigelow in Pool No Water.
Yes.
That was corpse-like, right?
Yeah, she plays the her or the
whatever.
or
I
she,
don't know what
whatever.
her character's name was.
Yeah.
That was pretty good, right?
Right. Yeah, when she's especially she's in the coma and everything like that.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, very good.
And someone that has to be on that list is the fellow from One Flea Spare.
Yes.
God, what was
he's going to be in the flashcards tonight probably.
What
and
was
you're
his name?
David Bowden.
David Bowden.
Yes, playing Mr. William Snellgrave.
Mr. Snellgrave.
Dies and sits in that chair dead for longer
Ever.
than... Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Also on here, Alan Noss playing man number 1.
Oh, in The Big Meal.
In The Big Meal,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And...
There were lots of good corpses in that show.
Yeah, oh yeah, everybody was dead at some point, right?
Yeah, sure.
And the entire cast of Northwest Classical Theater Company's King Lear is on here.
Huh.
So, good luck to you all.
Excellent. I look forward to seeing who wins.
Yes, so we'll do a few more of those next week.
Yeah. But first...
We got to take a break,
Yeah,
though.
we really should take a break.
Okay.
And we're going to come back, and we're going to do some flashcards, and we're finally going to give a review this week.
If we have some time, we'll do that.
If we have time.
Okay,
All right.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back to 5 Useless Degrees and a Bottle of Scotch.
I'm James Engberg.
No, that's the beginning of the show.
Oh, I was excited. Okay.
On the Haggis.
And we are talking about Bag and Baggage's production of Private Lives.
Are we?
We haven't,
But
no, we're not.
well, we'll get there.
Okay.
But first, we need to do some timer.
Yeah, we got to do some drammy crammy. So, Haggis, you ready?
I'm always ready.
Yeah. Well, let's do it.
Okay.
All right.
Drammy crammy time. How come we have no cute lead-in music for this segment?
We can come up with something.
Oh, yeah. Can you come up with something, Haggis?
Sure, I'll get on the xylophone.
It's Drammy Crammy.
On the xylophone.
Wait, you should break out your saxophone again.
That's a lot of trouble.
Okay.
It's like a once-in-a-lifetime thing.
There's so many people we still haven't gotten to yet.
All right, but we can't do too many.
And we're not going to
I
get to
know.
everyone. There's just no way.
But this is a lot, so we'll get through it. But I think you'll know some.
Okay.
Oh, well, that's good.
So I'm gonna
Hope so.
No one could hear me last week, so I'm gonna adjust my microphone.
Oh, very good. That's true. We couldn't
okay.
hear you.
You're in the standing position. You look like a game show host.
Do you think I could get another gig doing that?
Yeah. No one will understand you, but...
Okay, let's
All
do
right,
this.
Okay,
let's
here
have
we
it.
go.
All
Here's
right.
their first one.
That's Scott
Scott
Palmer,
Palmer,
the
yeah.
artistic director of Bag and Baggage Theater Company.
Director of the show we saw this week.
Right. Okay.
That is... they're from Sidekicks.
Right.
Yep. That's all.
Leon Anderson
Right.
and Katie Michaels.
Oh.
What?
Look at me go.
The
It pays to get here early.
Wow. Oh, come on. This is rigged. Wow.
I had to help him out on that one.
I didn't know the characters.
All right.
All right. So it's fair square from here on out.
Yeah, I'm
No,
sure
that's
it's
the
very
only one I saw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nicola Quarty.
Nicola Quarty. Yeah, I was going to say Danielle.
Now, what was she in this year?
She was in.
We just saw her in
Learn to Be Latina.
And
she was in
Arabian Nights last year.
Last year, that was
And Invasion.
Invasion.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else? David Bowden.
That is David Bowden.
You said he'd come up, so I threw him in there.
I don't remember her name.
You don't know her
In
name?
From One
No.
Flea Spare.
All right. That was Kayla Leon.
Kayla Leon.
All right. She played Morris.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, what other show was David Bowden in?
He was in Noises Off.
Yeah, he played Selston. Yeah. Oh, she was the one firecracker. She was in Wild Tales.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I couldn't tell you her
she
name.
she was the great firecracker in Wild Tales that I really liked.
She was the girl. She played with the bird
and
puppet.
the bird as well. Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know her name.
Her name is Shauna Nordman,
Shauna Nordman.
and she's part of the cast of Theatre Vertigo now.
Okay.
She was in The End of Sex also.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, she was.
I think you saw that, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep, I did.
Okay.
Down
Now, can
to-
you name her?
Oh, no,
No.
I cannot.
I'll give you a hint. Bon Ton?
Oh, I
She was
didn't
in the
see
Bon Ton Roulette.
She wasn't in it.
She wasn't. Oh, she must be the person that adapted it.
I think she wrote it or adapted it.
She compiled it because
Right.
it's all Shakespeare.
Right, she made the sonnets into the songs.
I don't
and
know her name.
But she directed a show that you saw.
Uh-oh. Danger.
Do you know her name?
No,
It's
have
Elizabeth Huffman.
Elizabeth Huffman. What did she direct?
She
Tess on an
directed
Alien Planet.
Lion in Winter.
Oh, okay. There you go.
I think we only have time for like one more.
I've got a whole stack.
I know, but we're running. We got to give a review today.
We're
still.
failing here.
Okay, so
Okay.
running out of time, I'll give you one more.
Okay.
All right. Ugh, I knew you were going to do that.
It's Gideon's Knot.
Yeah, it's Gideon's Knot.
It's the
and,
two actors from Gideon's Knot.
and the one actress was also in Noises Off. She played Poppy.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, I can't.
That's Dana Green and Amy Newman.
Amy Newman.
Amy Newman. And
Dana Green.
Okay.
All
okay.
right.
All right.
Yep. Good.
Excellent.
Well done, sort of.
Yeah,
This is our worst week.
not so good this week.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Private Lives
By Noel Coward.
at Bag and Baggage Productions.
Directed by Scott Palmer.
Does anybody else direct at that theater company?
Not that I know of.
I've never seen anything else
No.
by anybody or anything directed by anybody else.
And
Okay.
we met Scott for the first time.
yeah,
prior
he was,
to the show.
He was very nice to talk to.
Yeah, it's nice to talk to him.
Yep. Okay, so I've never seen this before,
No, I've never seen a production of this.
and I haven't really read much Noel Coward.
I've seen scenes from this, but I've never seen the whole thing.
So what'd you think?
I think
Come on, gut reaction. Let's go here. What do you think? Do you love it? Hate it? Come on.
I think the play is dated.
Sure.
I mean, it was
It
written,
was written in the late
20s.
20s, early 30s.
Yeah.
Right?
But I think that there's some pretty witty dialogue here.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think these are somewhat fascinating characters, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
I don't know about that, but
I think that there is an extreme element to them, or there should be an extreme element to them, which is sort of fascinating. I think Elliot and Amanda
yeah.
are despicable.
Okay.
And but somehow kind of the people who we're supposed to empathize with,
Okay.
and I find that pretty interesting.
So for those that may not know this play, this is about two couples that are on.
It's about one couple.
Well, it is about two couples. That
There's
are,
two couples in it, but it's
that-
about one couple.
Yes. Two couples go on on honeymoons. They both are just on their honeymoons,
Yes.
and they're staying in adjoining rooms.
Right. Victor and Amanda,
And
Elliot and Sybil.
Mm-hmm. And Elliot and Amanda
are exes.
are
Spouses. Yes.
They were married for 5 years, and they end up happening to be in the same hotel.
Mm-hmm.
That's the setup.
Right. And there is a flaming passion between the two of them.
Yes.
And they are, would you say, equals in terms of wit?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they're able to do battle with each other.
Yeah.
Pretty well.
Right.
It's this relationship that is so impassioned on the one hand with desire and love.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, they really can't stand each other.
Yeah, well, I think their passion carries through all aspects of their relationship.
Right.
And
Positive
so,
or negative.
Yeah, so when they're on the negative side, they are battling with each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's, I find that fascinating. I think that's an interesting couple. And so they get back together.
Yeah.
Or rekindle this flame.
Because it's kind of clear that neither of them are interested in their new spouses.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And they abandon Victor and Sybil and take off for Paris, a flat in Paris.
Yeah.
So while the characters excite me in this,
Okay.
theoretically,
Yeah.
in practice,
Well, even the dialogue kind of excites me.
why that?
Well, I think the dialogue is very witty.
Oh, the wit of it.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's entertaining dialogue. When you just read it, it's very entertaining.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I think it can be played to great effect.
Yeah.
But I think that didn't come across in this performance.
No, this falls flat.
Yeah.
I mean, it just does not work.
Yeah. And I don't think trying to make them their interactions more slapstick and more farce-like and more two-dimensional
Yeah.
helps that.
I think, there seems to be a failure to trust. Well, I don't know that it's a failure to trust the dialogue, but maybe that there's not, maybe not the ability to live just within the dialogue itself. And so there's this need arises out of that to create physical comedy that is shallow and doesn't add anything. And so I'm kind of left empty.
Which in fact I think distracts from what should be
Right.
a very vibrant set of interactions
Right.
between especially Amanda and Elliot.
Yeah.
But then with Victor and Sybil as well, as they come back onto the scene towards the end of the play. I think there's so much opportunity there that is just forsaken for gags. Yeah, a gag here and there.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't, I don't think it does Noel Coward's play service.
No, I think that's right. I think it's abandoning what Coward was after. I think. I mean, this is a comedy of manners ultimately, and it is seeing these high class people, because these people are very well to do.
Yes.
And seeing, and this is where the title comes from, seeing their intimate lives unwinding.
Right. I guess that's when you say comedy of manners, I think it's a comedy of manners that is sort of erupting and can't, like, when I think of comedy of manners, I think comedy of manners may like press its boundaries and like start to fall outside of its frame a little bit. It always picks itself back up and puts it back inside its structure.
Right.
I look at this and I think, yeah, it's a comedy of manners that can't hold together and just keeps erupting and blowing up and it just can't find its way back into its. These two are too powerful, and especially multiply each other when they're in each other's presence to just keep it in that sort of comedy manners framework. And I think that's really exciting, or that could be very exciting.
Well, but in order to make that work, though, you need performers that can maintain that for 2+ hours.
Yes. And I think that Chrissy Kelly Pettit playing Amanda actually could do that.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Her performance out of all of these was the one that was really exciting.
Yeah. But when you see her juxtaposed against some of the other performances in this, it's dreadful.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the scenes between Amanda and Victor were mind-numbing to me.
Yes.
I felt like I was watching a cue pickup rehearsal.
Oh man.
I
Yeah.
mean, it was that dry and lifeless.
Yeah.
And I remember after 35 minutes or so, my eyes started to glaze over. I
took a few naps. I did. I remember just before they go to the Paris flat, the Paris apartment,
Yeah.
right there at the end of Act 1. I was like kind of sitting there watching, and then suddenly I was awakened by clapping because it ended, and I wasn't quite there for the end of Act 1. And I think Chrissy Kelly Pettit is great in this. I think her in contrast to the other characters just flattens them out even more.
Right.
Or to the other performances just flattens them out more.
There are times where Adam Siren, who plays Elliot, is effective.
Yes, and they do have a chemistry.
They have an excellent chemistry.
Yes.
But I think that it's not able to sustain itself over the course of the play.
How much of this do you think of Victor and Sybil's lack of being fascinating or compelling characters?
Yeah.
How much do you think that is coward? I mean, because those characters are supposed to be flat and sort of despicable in contrast
a little bit,
to the others, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's part of the reason that Amanda and Elliot don't like them, because they're sort of featureless.
So I guess, how does Ariane Jacques and Gary Strong, who play those other characters, how do they hold up to that, given what they have to work with?
I don't know. That is a good question, and that's a tall task for them. But I think if they can somehow find an inner life to them that can allow them to shine in some way, I mean, just even a glimmer of life in them would help.
Yeah, I would say that sometimes they're so unremarkable as to be not even unlikable.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, they're almost insignificant, and you have to somehow make them significant enough to be a contrast to this powerhouse of Elliot and Amanda.
Yeah. Well, and I think it starts off on such a bad foot that we don't care that the two relationships are ending.
No.
And somehow,
no, not at all.
Somehow, I think you need to feel bad that these two marriages are about to crumble.
Yeah, but those two first scenes are.
Ugh.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They're so hard.
Yeah.
There's nothing there.
No.
And that was part of the problem. By the time we got to where Elliot and Amanda come together, we've already endured these very long,
uninteresting scenes.
Yeah. 2-person scenes.
Yeah.
And I just was like, this didn't start off on a good foot.
Right.
Yeah. And it's been a long drive out here.
The drive was more interesting at times.
No, that's not true. Like when? Never.
Well,
That's
TV
right.
highway.
You know what was interesting, though? We went to that bar down the street.
Yeah.
Before we went to the show.
Oh, yeah.
That sports bar.
Yeah.
And then I guess I knew somebody in there.
She knew you.
She came up to me and called me her brother and wanted to fist bump.
Awesome.
But so.
I noticed that she didn't come back after that, though. I thought for sure she was going to hit you up later.
No, she had to get back to her beer. Yeah. I'm not judging. I'm just saying.
No. Yeah.
Okay. You read this, yes? After the fact?
Sort of, yeah.
You skimmed this?
I skimmed it.
Did you anything? Was anything illuminating from that, or?
Yeah. Well, I think that because one of the things that bothered me about the production itself was the amount of physical confrontation between the characters.
Yeah.
It just seemed not right. It seemed like it was out of place, and that Noel Coward didn't, because it's been a long time since I've read this, and I've only ever seen scenes from it. I haven't seen the whole thing. So I read it, and looking specifically for those actions in the stage directions. And Palmer's taken some liberties with these stage directions. And I mean, some of the outcomes of the plot itself. I mean, the final scene, Elliot and Amanda walk off hand in hand, but that's not what we got.
While Victor and Sybil are distracted with each other.
Yeah. So
no, we didn't get that.
And I'm not sure. I'm not sure why those choices were made. They seem. I can't figure that out.
Which is odd to me, because I would totally expect him to mess with the script.
Yeah.
Because
no, that's true.
He does that.
He does
right?
that, yes.
But I often think, or what I've seen from him before, there's a lot of motivation behind that, and there's a lot of, you can tell why he's doing it.
Yeah, this didn't seem to have a purpose to it.
No, this did not have that same sort of engine to it.
Well, and a prime example of this is the maid, Louisa.
Right.
Who comes in for actually what seems like a really long scene of her kind of giving this monologue that we can't understand because we don't speak French.
Well, and she starts out with like a little slapstick bit.
Yeah.
Where she slams her face into the table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what purpose that serves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Other than trying to compensate for the inability to deal with the script itself.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it was an attempt to try to make this into a physical comedy that didn't go far enough to get somewhere, or if it was just trying to make something interesting, which the director didn't find interesting in its own right.
Well, but I find that hard to believe.
Yeah.
I mean,
too. I mean, reading his notes.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he has a lot of interesting things to say about this play.
Yeah, it just doesn't come out in the production.
Right, but that's not happening on the stage.
Yeah.
Also,
I'm
going to say it again.
You're just egging him on.
Well,
it's just going to get worse and worse every time we're there.
No, maybe. How can it get any worse? So why that curtain speech? Why does it have to be that long?
Well, we were there, their one and only preview.
Yeah, but we've been there on a not preview.
I don't
for other shows.
I don't know.
And so I could do with a shorter curtain speech.
Or no curtain speech.
Or no curtain. That's the ideal, right?
We know what we're going to get.
Right.
We hope we know what we're going to get.
Yeah. But I understand how people have to wean themselves off of things. So a short one would be better than...
Okay.
Yeah, right.
That's what we'll shoot for next time.
Yeah. That's what you and I will shoot for next time.
All right. So...
Well, it's going to start beeping.
I know.
Okay.
So how many flasks for this, James?
I got to start taking my flask.
Yeah.
I haven't been bringing it.
The flask would have helped, I think.
Yeah. Although they did have that delicious popcorn. So
yeah.
That is good.
And their beer selection is pretty good.
It is good.
In comparison to the bar around the corner.
And I got to meet Scott Palmer, which was kind of great.
Yeah.
None of these have anything to do with the actual production.
And Nathan, we found Nathan there rather drunk at the bar.
Yeah, he was there. he eating meatballs and drinking away. Boy, I have to give this 4.5.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's really not much that I would be interested in seeing. Again.
No, and I can't even get above that half a flask. I'm at 5 flasks with this.
Wow.
I found nothing in this that I would care to see again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, if you didn't have to make that round trip drive, would that have...
No, doesn't matter.
Still 5?
In fact, if I could add a few flasks for the drive, I would.
Okay. Well, there you have it. There it is.
Yeah.
So, what's wrong with you?
It's been such a long time since we've had a one flask show.
You know, you say that, and that is true. But we did have a run there for a few weeks where we were seeing good things.
Yeah, like two flash shows for several weeks in a
Yeah.
row.
I'm thinking the last few weeks of the season, everyone's going to pull out the stops and do great work.
God, I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so. Speaking of which, next week, we're going to go see Showboat.
At Lakewood.
Never seen Showboat.
You've never seen Showboat?
Oh, I'm so excited about this.
Wow.
And in
Yeah.
that comfortable space.
Oh, yeah. So this is a couple weeks into their run, but they're going into June. So, we're a little late to this one, but it works out in our schedule. So we'll be at Showboat this week. Speaking of what we're seeing this week, let me give you a rundown of what's playing this weekend.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah? No. We want to provide people with some options.
We do.
Whether we
on
like
our
it or not.
website.
Well, they can go to our website, but, maybe they don't have time for that, so they can hear it here. All right?
They don't have time to go to the website, but they have time to listen to this.
Well, there's that.
Oh, go ahead.
All right.
You're doing.
Yeah.
Yes, you're doing good work.
I'm doing public service
Yeah,
here.
you are. Go ahead.
And you're not charging a fee.
You're right. I'm not. Ain't Misbehavin' is at Stumptown Stages. And Defunct is doing in repertory Betty's Summer Vacation and Fewer Emergencies. Triangle Productions is doing the Jim Pepper Project. You can get Maple and Vine at Coho. We saw Learn to Be Latina at Miracle Theater last week. And Portland Playhouse is doing After the Revolution. Portland Center Stage is doing The Last 5 Years. Broadway Rose is producing The Bikinis. You can get The Giver at Oregon Children's Theater Company and Little Red Riding Hood at Northwest Children's Theater. And finally, what we saw this week.
And Private Lives runs through May 30th at Bag and Baggage Productions.
There you go.
There we go.
All right.
All right, we'll be back next week with some more nominees.
Yes, we will.
With a little more drammy crammy.
Yes, and Showboat.
And Showboat. So this is 5 Useless Degrees in a Bottle of Scotch. My name's James Engberg.
And I'm Eric Kilgore.
We'll talk to you next week.
Sláinte.
5 Useless Degrees in a Bottle of Scotch is a production of Studio 5 UDBS and is powered by whiskey.
Our producer is Haggis the Pete Bog Jones.
You can visit our website at 5uselessdegrees.org, where you can leave us a voicemail, leave us a comment, or you can email us at dearlushes@5uselessdegrees.org.
Sláinte lá.
Feeling thirsty, so pop the bottle top.